I am sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is right, just representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know the game play, that me not say it. If me never seen a game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you a go love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Jamaican herbs and spices add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
All right, greetings. Welcome again to I Am Sure Sports. This is going to be very quick look at what is happening in schoolboy football. I have Maxwell and Javon, our regular guest, and also Chris, the sports guy, who is going to be joining us. And I want you to notice that this Sunday at 4, I'm going to be over at Chris, the sports guy channel. So if you're watching this video, you need to make sure you jump over there this Sunday at 4 p.m. Right? We're going to be over there talking about something that he hasn't told me about yet, but I know it's going to be real good. Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
You know what? I am here. I don't even know how I'm doing. I'm hearing all of these things about what is going on with appeals and all of these things. I'm like perplexed. I'm confused. I'm trying to figure out what is going to happen. Are the games going to be played? Which school is in problem? Are schools being punished and some are not being punished? Like, there are so many questions out there to be answered, especially because they seem to be predominantly in the Manning Cup. That seem to be like, I have reports that several schools have been reported. Some issues have been resolved. Some have not been. I've heard like JC has issues. Stats may have had issues, are having issues. Mona name came up again. St. Catherine High School came up. Kingston Technical, Charlie Simmet, Camperdown and Tivoli. I hear that there were suggestions about Calabar as well. Yeah, so I got the rule, but I'll have you, talk, and then I can get into, what I've heard concerning the rules to see if that's your understanding as well.
Yeah, so evidently, if persons have been watching and looking closely at what has been happening in the Manning Cup, of course, we would know that Tivoli Gardens and Camperdown, who won Zone B, Tivoli Gardens, who were runners-up in that zone as well, they are no longer in the competition, or they're no longer going to partake in the Manning Cup. Of course, they would have partake in the first round and got through to the second round. I believe that Tivoli was a part of Group 1 and the Camperdown was a part of Group 2. Now it's Stats who replace Tivoli in Group 1, and the Excels are
Excel.
replace Camperdown in Group 2. So the reason why is because for Camperdown, I know that there was a student that was a part of Camperdown initially, left Camperdown, went to an academy, and came back. And because he came back, we all know that once, whether you're transferring back to a school or you're a new student at a school, you have to sit out a year once you have reached over the age of 16. You have to sit out 12 months unless you have completed a government test, more than likely the grade 9 assessment test GNAT, or you have gone into sixth form. So because of that, now he was supposed to sit out a year, even though he's a returning student, and he didn't sit out a year, and that caused Camperdown to leave. It's not the first team this season that has been sanctioned. Of course, Mona, they themselves have been sanctioned, but of course, Mona has gone through to the quarterfinals because their case was sought after early, and of course, Craig Butler, credit to him, took care of that immediately, and of course, they're through to the quarterfinals. But there are many things that have been going on. Paul Bogle was also a victim of ineligibility in the Da Costa Cup. They lost points, so it's a flurry of things. But I heard persons, well, more particularly, and I don't want to really cuss or anything, Manning, but there's the student council president over Camperdown is blaming ISSA for not doing their due diligence. And
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree with that, because I am guessing, I would hope that as an organization that has to make sure that everything is on point for the government to give the green light, I am thinking more than likely that information was sent to the schools. It's the schools, the onus are now on the schools to ensure that everything is lined up, the check boxes are ticked off, and make sure that everything is good for the students to go on. And this rule that Camperdown was accused of in terms of ineligibility is not just football. It has been across every single high school sport for the longest while since I've known it. Once you're being transferred, you have to sit out a year. So I don't think it has anything to do with ISSA entirely, because of course I think that ISSA should still investigate, make sure that it still keep up the standard. But ultimately the onus is on the schools to make sure everything is in line. So it's unfortunate for Camperdown and Tivoli because they have worked so hard. Camperdown got 17 points within the zone, which is very, very commendable. But the onus is on the school, man. I'm telling you.
All right. So here's what I even with that player, I
Hold on,
understand.
I'm getting a call. You can,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
yeah.
So yeah. So let me help. So the first people I'm going to read the amended transfer rule for you. The amended transfer rule. This is from ISSA. It says the General Body Inter-Secondary School Association, ISSA, has voted to amend the eligibility rules as it relates to the transfer of student from one member school to another. Amendments. So this means that the rules were changed in 2019. So whatever happened in 2018 would not apply, because you'd have to be applying these new rules retroactively. All right. So 2019 Amendment A says, transfer students will not be allowed to participate if transferred amongst member schools more than once. Very simple. B, Amendment B. School teams will have a limit placed on the number of transfer students, a quota in bracket, that will be allowed to be registered for various ISSA run competitions. The quota will be applicable to students who change member school between 1st and 6th form, grades 7 to 13. All right. So what that means is that don't matter if you're going 6th form or not. Amendment B saying that once you're transferred, there is a quota as to how many students, transfer students, can play or represent the school in any particular season. The quota, I understand, is 3. We're going to get to that, right? Continues to say, this is Amendment B. Each student will only be regarded as part of the receiving school quota for a competition if they had previously registered with another school for the said sport or for which he or she is going to be registered. So this would only apply if you played football at one school and you come in to play football. But if you did track and field in one school and you come in to play football and not track and field, then this would not apply. The quota to be applied for each sport is as follows. For football, cricket, and hockey, 3. You can only use 3 transfer players per season, whether they're going to 6th form or not. Netball, volleyball, basketball, 2. Swimming, table tennis, 1. Athletics is 2 per class, meaning 2 from class 4 to 1, right? It says the quota is applicable for each age group in each competition. Each time a transfer student athlete is registered to compete for the receiving school, he or she will be regarded as part of the school quota, irrespective of the length of time since the transfer was completed. For the purpose of the quota rule, the transfer rule will apply only to student athletes previously registered to participate for another ISSA member school. Therefore, students transferred from another member school but was never involved in ISSA sports at their previous school will not be regarded as part of the quota system. Neither will students who transfer from non-member school students who previously are not entered to participate in specific ISSA competition in the year the quota is being applied should be exempted. Students who move from one member school to another as of, watch this, very important, as of January 1, 2019 will be subject to the quota system for all ISSA competition will affect January 1, 2020. All right. So that's how the rule is phrased. This is how the amendment were made. So what happened is that if you transferred from one school to another school in 2018, this rule would not apply to you because you'd have transferred before the rule came into place in 2019, right? In 2019, if you get transferred from one school to another school, any of the ISSA member school, you have to sit out a year. That's the rule. All right. Now, say you go to 6th form. You can play right away, but there's a certain amount that can play. 3. So if you have 2 players who you transfer who sat out a year and they play, say you took them when they were 14, but now they are 16, but they are coming from an ex-ISSA school. And those 2 can play because they sat out a year. And then you have 4 players who move into 6th form. Only 3 of the 6 players can play. I hope you get that, right? So you can't say, well, but these 2 sat out a year Why can't I use the other 4? No, they are saying that once the students are transferred, only 3 can be used. That is the quota. Only 3 transfer students can be used. And again, remember, the rule does not apply since 2018. No, I think the rule is clear. I understand it with one of the Camperdown players, and this is what I've heard. All right, it is not, it can't be verified, but I understand that part of the situation is that he was actually at a next school training. He was training at the school, and the school said, "You will have to sit out a year, so we will not be able to have you participate for us." The player heard that and still went to Camperdown and was accepted by them. So you can't blame, if that is true, you can't blame ISSA. You have to take responsibility for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
And in the interview on KLS Manning's man, the principal cried and said that I failed you. And you know what that tells me, Manning's man? That tells me that he knew what he was doing. And that really and truly, that's why when I saw the video on Instagram and I see the person, the student saying that the
ISSA
never did their due diligence, I was actually confused, because I am saying, how is it that you're going to blame ISSA when I am pretty sure ISSA had sent the rules and regulations, which is one of the reasons why some teams are not even playing in both the Costa Cup and Manning Cup? Why is it that we are now going to be blaming ISSA for something that you should be doing? ISSA should not be doing that. And this is not the first nor the second year of Manning Cup. This is not back in the early 90s when none of us were even born. This is 2021. The rules, a lot of the rules are remaining the same. And this man is not like this man, and I'm not even placing the blame entirely on the principals either. Look at Camperdown's situation, Manning's man. This man is not like, it's the first year he's been here. He's been the manager, he's been the assistant coach, and now he's the head coach. He's been there for 7 years. So he knows the process, he knows what to do. So ISSA is not going to be over there with a beating stick. ISSA has never done that. Why is it that now we're going to blame ISSA when before there have been rules and regulations for many different high school competitions and they have abided by it? Why is it that it's now that they're going to blame ISSA when they have been doing their due diligence for how many years now? I'm not blaming ISSA for this. They should know that they should follow the rules and regulations. He transferred to Camperdown. The onus is on the coach and the principal to tell him, listen, you're going to have to sit out a year because you've transferred back to the school.
I will let Javon come in after this, but Chris, here's what I agree with you, because I'm saying that, remember, school was online for 2019. The player could still have been in an academy and still the school online. Why did you have to come out of school, like deregister? Why would you deregister for an academy? So my whole thought process is, obviously, you weren't planning on going back to school. Whatever was promised in the academy was so sweet that you deregistered from school. Now the academy don't work and you want to play football, so you want to re-register in school, right? The school would have known that. The school would have known that the kid deregistered. So if the kid deregistered from school, because he could have gone to the academy, still had the academy experience, and still did online classes. So for that case, I'll say that, you know, they are culpable in all of that. Let me get weight and parchment, and then what do you say, Sir Max?
Okay. Listen, I want to go and be here for a short time today, but look here. The issue with Camperdown, the coach keeps mentioning one player. Unless there's another player, it's actually supposed to be two, because the player in question, right, actually left Waterford, went to MRC, and then tried to enroll at Camperdown. But however, what happened was that he also trained at another school, and that school told him he'd have to sit out. They knew the rules, and he thought it smart, and he went to Camperdown. Camperdown blatantly, I'm going to tell you now, they bend the rules. They broke the rules, because the other school saw the youngster did not train only at Camperdown before wanted to come back. He trained on North Street also, right? And they told him there, they gave him back the documents and told him that he'd have to sit out. So it doesn't make any sense. So, and that's a fact. So if there's another youngster, that's basically what's happening, you know, there are several youngsters all over the place, because a lot of schools have these MRC and also Mount Pleasant students that thought that they could just walk back into the schools and play.
Okay, all right. I know you have to run, so we're going to give you the opportunity to share whatever else you want to share, and then
okay.
You can...
Well, let me tell you what's happening now, right? This is breaking news. It's hot off the press. I don't think at this stage there are a lot of teams out there that are in problems. Craig Butler again. There look like there are some issues, not to do with well, with anything with the MRC, of course, but his thing has to do with some players that have returned to the country, and there are other issues.
So I can tell you what I heard. I heard again. This is unverified, but I heard that there were players who returned from England and played, and they should have gone through a process of quarantine. I don't know if that's
one of the problems, not the only one.
I don't know if that is a breaching of the rules.
Has to be.
So I don't know. I don't know what the rule says about that. But that is what I've heard. I don't even know if it's the
rules of the country. You have to quarantine once you're coming back, unless you pay. You can there's something where you can pay about 20-something thousand, and you can
PCR test. You can do a PCR test and avoid the once you're vaccinated.
Something like that, have to pay about 25,000 to do.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So and I don't know if those people did it. Plus, the other thing is there's a player there that attended St. George's College, and they were moving in there. So there are issues all around with Mona with this. So that's another problem Craig has gotten himself into.
Right. But and I hear that there are problems at Charlie Simit. I hear that there's a problem at St. Catherine High with MRC.
MRC.
I hear that there's a problem at Kingston Technical as well with a player, with an MRC player. So we don't know these things. I heard that there was some situation with JC, but that apparently has been...
That is obviously the explanation that was given from what I hear.
Yeah.
Is an interpretation, but that is something that I wouldn't bother to try to deal with that. Because
I think I can explain that one. So I want to make sure I give you time. But I'll explain that one of the JC one that I'm aware of, which I read the rules. But the issue is there's a player, apparently he kept goal for Wolmer's. He transferred from Wolmer's to St. George's. Then he transferred from St. George's to JC. So based on the rule, now he should not play. However, the rule was in 2019 and the first transfer was in 2018. So for him to not play, you have to apply the rule retroactively. That is my understanding.
That's true. That's how it seems now. But and that also it has implications for one of a particular player also at another. Because right now it looks like Zone A has a lot of queries in that zone there, and you might have something blowing up there. I don't know. Because you have a number of teams. It might be one or two teams, might be out. I'm not sure. But
so do all the teams. So if I'm Calabar, do I continue to train? If I'm St. Diego, do I continue to train? What do you do?
That's something now that's a personal preference for the coach, and if they feel that their appeal is strong enough. But what in my experience in the past, sometimes these schools don't train and then they are told like on Thursday, look here, you have a match tomorrow, and then they are totally unprepared. They get really they get embarrassed because they just weren't aware of it. So if you are going to make this appeal, you have to keep training with anticipation. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
But-
Parchment, what you hearing on your side? Unseen Sports, welcome, man. Look like you're sleeping. Sorry to wake you up, man.
No, I wasn't sleeping. Well, my side, I think my side is good enough.
No, not your side, but just from your perspective. Let me use a different
Oh,
word.
so you mean? I think it's St. Catherine side.
Because you don't have any side. You don't have any side.
No, I don't have any side. No, I
yeah.
mean St. Northeast, St. Catherine area. So.
Oh.
I hear St. Catherine has some Mount Pleasant players there. I hear things going on there too.
Oh, didn't you?
Didn't say I didn't say the school. Didn't call any school.
They cancel the school. That's where the Mount Pleasant players are. But I think they are okay. Nobody. I know a lot of schools may query about a lot of things, and ISSA don't send on a bulletin yet on them, so I think they are okay.
Once they're in sixth form, they are good. Once they're in sixth form, okay. If they're not in sixth form, it depends on when they were registered.
I think also that this whole year of the pandemic may have affected how some of the schools view the rule. Because of the pandemic, I think, and there was no competition, I think that like people think the information would have been lost in the system, basically. And I think that is why we're having some of these issues. They probably think like time would have caused some of these things to elapse. But go ahead, Parchment, with what you say.
But the JC keeper though would be okay because he transferred before the rule came in effect. So he will be okay, right?
Yeah, that's what I hear. That based on the rule. But listen, why cut it so close? My issue is, why do you have to cut? Is it this serious? You're telling me that you'd rather toe the line? Like, this is what I can't understand. This fascination with winning schoolboy football, that people would want to toe the line of morality. Toe the line of morality and getting kids, because these are really kids, to knowingly sometimes break rules and regulation just to win. And then we talk about building a society and a community based on moral and ethical values. Like don't toe the line. Stay as far away from it as possible, in my humble estimation and position. But go ahead and see.
I think breaking rules is part of Jamaica genetics for some people. But when I look at Camperdown and based on their preseason, I was wondering when the competition started, oh, they are playing this good. So a lot of new talents must come into the team. And based on the coach, did his interview and said that no high school beat him in preseason, and didn't beat him 4-0 in preseason. And then now they're seeing the team performing like this in the competition. It raised my eyebrow on a lot of things. So I am not surprised. I'm not surprised about it.
I know that you have been saying that about the Camperdown team from the beginning. From the beginning. Yeah. Right. Brain Drain is asking, is there any possibility of Calabar to continue in the competition? Well, we have to wait and see, because there are many allegations out there. We have to wait and see. But here's the thing. There has been some issues raised against Calabar as well. And I have heard that those issues have been resolved because there are no problems. So that is the issue. Because you know how it is, if you bring a complaint against my school, I just bring a complaint against your school. So some of it, I think, is just being vindictive, and it's not going to go anywhere, in my humble estimation. But now, like I say, you don't know what to believe. You don't know where things are going.
But one is one. The past student, some of these coaches, They are just in it to win it, and they do anything to win it. They are not. So most of them are not about development of these youths. So and some of it is the manager, because some of the managers sit down and study these rules, and study how to break them also, and find loopholes around them, and end the school end up facing the judgment. Sometimes the principal, the vice principal don't know nothing about these things. Is the management staff, do it and stuff like that. So,
But don't the principal, Chris, don't the principals have to, don't the principals or the principal or the vice principal, don't they have to sign off on the documents that goes to ISSA? Just tell me about that.
Yeah, you have to sign off. The principal has to sign off on the documents that have been formulated by the teams. So whether or not you'd like it, the administrative board has to know, especially the principal. The principal has to know what is going on, which is one of the reasons why I did mention to your Manningsman that when this whole thing with Camperdown happened, the principal cried and said to the coach that I have failed you. So he knows. The principal has to know, and there has to be proof that the principal knows and signs off on the documents, the relevant documents of the team that was formulated by the coach and the coaching staff, i.e. the manager and the assistant coach as well as the head coach. So I understand what you mean, Unseen, saying that some of the vice principals don't know, but a lot of the principal at best should know. So the vice principal may not know, but the head of the school, which is the principal, does know about these things that are happening. That is why I definitively say I don't blame ISSA, none at all, because they've set the rules and regulations. As a matter of fact, Wellington says that he actually bent some of the rules because of COVID. So the fact that they have gotten leniency, but still there is breach, you can't blame ISSA. You have to blame the schools. They have to make sure that they've dot every I and cross every T, so that there's no infringement, no infraction, none at all, and they can go through smoothly. So I don't blame ISSA at all.
But Chris, I will give ISSA a little blame. Why? I still believe that ISSA should have a system put in place to stop these things before, because it's bring down the credibility of the competition. I told you already, enough of these principals, enough of these coaches and management staff, they're just for winning. You understand me? And you have to block out these type of things from early out of the competition.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though,
it is also for professional football as well, Unseen. Rules are set in place by the FAs for the leagues to abide by. The onus is now on the clubs to do their due diligence. I am saying that they have done a lot, ISSA has done a lot, and they have put these things in place, which is one of the reasons why I go back to why there's been a reduce in teams for both Manning Cup and the Costa Cup, because the rules have been there. They've related to the different schools that would like to participate, and that is why a lot of the schools have written back to ISSA, have said to ISSA that, listen, we are unable, based on the conditions that you've put in place, we are unable to participate this year. So that is why I do not bring ISSA into this. Yes, you would want to say they have to do their due diligence. We would want to say that they have to be more vigilant. But if I, as an organization, say to you that, listen, this is what we're doing based on the competition and the tournament, you need to abide by this, then why is it that I am going to be upset? The NBA, for instance, Manningsman, it's now after how much games? Over 20 games in the season. Now they are investigating the Heat's transfer with Kyle Lowry, the Bulls transfer with Lonzo Ball. Why didn't they do that at first, Unseen? because the system was set in place by the NBA, and the franchises, the Bulls, the Heat, the Pelicans, whatever, the Lakers, whatever, has to abide by them. It's the same thing with the schools. The children are not the ones that are dealing with these problems. The children are not the ones that has to make sure that the rules and regulations are observed. It's the adults, the coaches, the principals. So I don't blame ISSA at all for that.
But here's a big question that is being asked. And brain drain, yes. Damien Hyatt is at training. Upbeat boss, there are some stuff in the DaCosta Cup, but the one team that has been hit so far is Paul Bogle, and that has been decided. We hear that there are other stuff happening. There are meetings going on, but we're not sure. We hear that a team out of Clarendon could be in problem. Teams in St. Catherine could be in problem. We don't know how far those things are going. Robert Sanchez is asking how many ballers JC bring from St. Vincent, right? Now, this is part of the issue that many people have, that you can bring footballers, that they have I think they have 3 players from St. Vincent, right, at Jamaica College. Now, how you can bring in players from a next Caribbean island, right, and they get to play right away, but then if you move someone from Westmoreland to Kingston, he has to sit out. Does that need to be looked at in terms of the rule? Is there an unfairness to the Jamaican student, right? Or, why aren't other, and I know ISSA rule is going to say, well, they are not a member of the ISSA, right? A part of the ISSA school. Like, Fresh God, what do you mean that one from another country? You can only play one from another country at a time? Or Chris, what then Unseen, you are in the school system. Yeah.
You hearing me, man, is man?
Yeah, man, we're hearing you.
Yeah, so based on that, I think though, once, because you're not not a member of the Schoolboy system, you should be allowed to play if you're going to sixth form. Like, if can you do the same CXC stuff in your country. But if you're if you don't do any CXC, I think you should not be allowed. I think any amount should be able to play if they do CXC and come into sixth form. That's what I think. But if not, you have to sit out.
What say you, Chris, to that rule? Is there an unfairness to the Jamaican youngster when you allow the Caribbean athlete to come in and play at the expense of a Jamaican youngster?
Well, of course, they're going to feel undone, Mannings, man. They are going to, but I agree with Unseen. I mean, this is not a team that, of course, does not do CXC or wanting for a better term O levels, because even though it's not exactly the same, England has somewhat of a similar school system as Jamaica, of course. We know that for a fact. But I mean, they do the same CXC as us. They do the same subjects more or less. I understand why there's some sort of what should I say, frustration, for lack of a better word, from the Jamaican people, because they're basically saying that, listen, we're from here, they're not. So for them to come now and play right away, it seems like you don't care about us and our development as it pertains to Manning Cup, rather than sourcing somebody from St. Vincent, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis to come here and play immediately. So I understand why they feel undone, but the Inter-Secondary School Sports Association, that is the rules that they've put in place, you have to abide by it.
Yeah, I think listen, here's my position. Like, this recruiting thing is getting too much. I think I like what Brain Drain said, because what he's saying is The reason why they probably would not allow it in Jamaica, or they put in the rule in Jamaica, is so that you don't have the so-called big school taking all the talent from the small schools. But if they can go into the Caribbean, it doesn't affect. But it's still a problem because only few schools in Jamaica can afford to do that. So there's still an unfairness with the whole system. And I think ISSA need to look at, because remember they had the same problem at Champs, remember the school that won Champs the last time around, one of the complaints that people had is that it was a Caribbean team, not a Jamaican team, because there were so many athletes from all over the Caribbean. Right? And then here's what Robert is saying. So a team can get around recruiting restriction by recruiting from other countries. So I can go and get somebody from Canada and from the and thing, and they play. But I can't get I don't know. I just think like we have to find a way to fix the system, because the school with the more resources are probably going to be able to keep going around the system. And there has to be a way to prevent that. And I think now it is what is leading to some of the problems we are having. You remember the Aaron Rodgers situation at KC at Champs, when they were saying that he could not have played, and then the following season, Jamaica College had several Caribbean athletes on their track team, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't like all the loopholes that are in the rules that allow some schools to get away with it and others don't. Unseen, what say you to this?
Yeah, I just believe that, it's easier. You recruit from primary level, you build a talent and carry them up through the system, more than, you're going out there, because this is the reason why ISSA put in the rules to stop the stealing of players from other teams. Team that
I don't want you to use. Is it stealing?
Yeah. So if JC coming with a black 100 black and 200 black and 3 bag of cement.
You sure you want? I don't think it's fair for you to put that kind of thing and attach a school name to it. I don't think that is fair to the school. Use your school.
Allegedly.
No. Use the school that you attend.
All right. So that's what I hear. Schools are doing that. Offering a lot of things because they have it, and I don't wrong them. I don't wrong them neither. If you can do that and get athletes, it's a part of recruiting, right? So I think, for football's sake and the pedigree of the competition, I think the recruiting rule is the amount of players that you can get for your school. It's okay, but coaches should now focus on building more than recruiting at the
Yeah. So
more than recruiting at the high level, D Cup level. You have primary schools have talented youngsters there. You go there, you pick who you want, get them in the school there. You can get any amount from any primary school and then build them covenant system. You understand me?
I think all of us would agree with that, right? I think so. I think all of us would agree with that, right? I mean, I think so. I'm going to drop the link in the comment section, right? And if you're on, Robert, maybe you can come on and express your views, because I think you're making some very good points. So if you want, you can come on and just share your views. Go ahead. Go ahead. What, you're saying something, partner? Go ahead.
So yeah, Chris can attest to this. Some of the problem, if you go some of the training, right? If a team have a striker and he's not doing well in training, the first thing the coach is going to say, manager, I need a striker though. You understand? More than taking the child and put him in front of the goal and teaching some individual drills to get him better. Their first mindset is to go out there and recruit a striker. Why are you a coach? Why are you a coach? To develop this athlete, to get him better, right? You wouldn't have him there in the first place as a centre forward because he's not scoring a lot of goals in pre-season and stuff like that. You are the coach. You should take him out and teach him and make him get better. You understand me? The first thing in these coaches' mind is to go out there and get somebody from another school. And this is the problem. This is causing most of the problem. They want easy work because their school can afford it to go and recruit a player. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah. What say you, Chris?
Well, of course, there's some truth to that. I think that with a lot of teams that have a good sporting program, whether it's focused on one sport or it's an all-round sporting school, they do have that advantage over the smaller schools or the schools that are not as adverse in sports like the others. So I do understand where that is concerned. And that's why it is so much more fulfilling when a team that has taken a group of players that are not as adverse, not as potent, and build them up into a Manning Cup or the Costa Cup winning team. It means so much more to that team because of what you've been able to achieve from the ground up. And you know, it has always been there since it stood the test of time. It has always been there. And a lot of the schools that are doing it, you know, I'm a reporter, so I'm not going to call out the school, but we know the schools that do it. And a lot of them that do it, they continue to do it. It's not going to change. What they do is that they abide by the rules and have to do it. And of course, it comes out and they're able to achieve what they want to achieve in a year or two. So I understand where that is concerned. I think that ISSA needs to regulate that whole transfer thing because it has to be that the schools that are not as adverse or not as big in Manning Cup, the Costa Cup, champs, you know, swimming, basketball, table tennis, those kind of things, they are not subject to persons being pulled because a lot of these small schools have one person that is adverse in something, but they always have a fear of those students being pulled and going to the big sporting school. So I think there should be more regulation. There has been some sort, which of course we know that doesn't solve the situation, but there needs to be some more regulation.
Yeah. So what Paul, let me just get Bridred first said that let me just get this says Manning's man has now become a communist and does not support the free market and competition. I don't know that. I just think that the rules need to be fair to all parties, and you know, the rule has to be applied in such a way, or it needs to be written in such a way that it doesn't allow people with a superior amount of resources or surplus in other things to be able to bend the rule. So because then the rule is not, you know, the rule then, like the speeding limit applies regardless of the type of car that you have. If you have a Lamborghini, if you have a Tesla, if you have a Honda, if you have a Toyota Corolla, the speed limit is constant. They don't make the speed limit and say faster cars drive at a different speed. I think the rule needs to be like that. The rule needs to be written in such a way that no matter how much money you have, no matter where you have access to in terms of market for the athletes, that you won't have an unfair advantage. And so, which is what I think Paul Marriott is saying. How can there be one rule that is being applied differently to the same students? Because they are the point of origin. And so I think that is a very, very, very valid point. And I don't think JC is the only school that's why I don't want to call names. But what I'll say though is that for this season in particular, because there are two players from St. Vincent who are a part of the JC program. You'd ask them that, is it that they could not find other Jamaicans? That is the real question. Why go as far as the Caribbean to find student athletes for the sport of football, when there are some 11-year-old who never played primary school football, who you could have gotten to build and develop and bring through the system, which is what you were saying, right? Up top boss is saying that the recruiting problem is mainly in the Manning Cup. Yeah, I think it's more so in the Manning Cup, but I will tell you this. The schools in the DaCosta Cup are doing way more now. Like Clarendon recruits. I mean, I would say that even Manning's has done recruiting. Of recent. You know, the Rossies, the Stets, they do recruit. Monroe College. So the Dintil has always recruited. So there are schools that are recruiting in the DaCosta Cup. It may not be as much as in the Manning Cup, but it is widespread. It is very widespread. But yeah, I don't know if you would call it stealing. I think stealing players is too strong a word, because the players don't belong to the school, so you can't steal them. You know, yeah, I don't know if I'd call it stealing. But Paul Marriott then says KC, Calabar, St. George's, et al. Does just as much recruiting as JC has over the years. So stop. Yeah, I think he's responding to Robert right there. So they will work that out in the chat. What's the difference between what's done at schools and at club level? Big team with more resources generally strive. Smaller clubs suffer. Well, Demo, because schools are not clubs. Go ahead, Javad.
Yeah, this is amateur football, and this is what we use as Jamaicans to develop our athletes, develop our school athletes, football, track and field. So I think rules should be in place. I think nothing is wrong with recruiting players, but stay in the limits. Stay in the limits. Don't let recruiting, dictate how you play or how far you reach in a competition. What should dictate where you reach in a competition is the play that you build from grade 7 come up. So if you don't get any players to recruit, you're supposed to still stand a chance to win the competition or reach far in the competition. That's what I think.
Yeah. All right. What about this? Look at this. I mean, top 10, this is a very good one. I don't know how many people agree with it. What about, listen, if you're recruiting, you have to do it between grade 7 and 9. So the player have to come into the school at grade 7, grade 8, or grade 9. But after that, you can't bring in players, like he says, except that they are migrating from one country to another. What you think?
A lot of other rules would have to be changed. ISSA would have to change a lot of other rules. The sit-out rules would have to be changed. So you have to look at a lot of other rules if you put that in place to be changed also.
Carly said, not in my days, Manning's. Man, I captain Manning's team, 98 to 99. 98? Yeah, that mean, Carl, who is this now? You captain Manning's team, 98. I left Manning's in 95. So I left Derek and them youth there. They go lower 6, 96, 97. Interesting. Did you get a correct name? Yeah, you must know, man. I must have been there. Where were you at school you must have been at school when I was there, man. Yeah. Yeah, so all right, somebody here saying that Calabar beat Jordan 7-1 and K22. No, them no go through. Got a loss of game.
That's simple to answer.
Okay. All right. So CC said management can't work because if me decide to go sixth form at a school, you can't stop me from play, and I can also repeat sixth form. So okay. So you're saying that I think, of course, I can stop you if you want to come to why, as long as your school has a sixth form. Remember my position, when you're in a sixth form and you're 19, you should not be playing schoolboy football. You understand me? I mean, You pass the age of schoolboy football if you're good. Right? So I don't know.
So basically, your rule is that you're forcing them to go pro or go into a better system.
Yeah, so you come to a school from first form to third form, it's okay. You can join this. You can join the school. You can play. You can participate. You don't have to sit out because you're playing now either Pepsi, Coles, or under 14, under 16. You can come right through up to third form, right? But you can't come to the school in fourth form and play. You can't come to the school in fifth form unless you're migrating. No, if your school don't have a sixth form program and you get transferred from a school without a sixth form program, which all the schools are doing now, right? You understand? Because what I don't want people to do is to transfer at 18 and 19 for the purpose of winning schoolboy football. Because to me, that don't, so CC, you and I are going to differ on that. You have to come on and explain. Explain to me. Car one this is doing car. I mean, I don't even know. 98, I wonder which goalkeeper this. I left. Who was it? Let me tell you who. I left Lenkiroy at school. PUI, Dirk, all of that group of players there. Little Fussy, all of those guys I left there, right, in 95. So I don't know, man, because I didn't, yeah. Yes. Mr. Scott. Yeah, Mr. Scott. Well, I think my last year, I think Bengeleng may have been the coach that year. Yeah. So let me get a couple more. So somebody saying some school have better sixth form. JC at the Man City for schoolboy football. Yeah. Oh, Carr was after you. I don't remember. I must be moonlighting as a comedian. So what happened when the proper Baptist school actually laid down the law for the teachers that they run things? Oh, he's answering to that's a Calabar JC man look like them fighting right there. So I'm going to jump out as that one. Yeah, but I think how this could work is if your school don't have a sixth form and you have your subjects, right, and you move. Say for example, I have a son at Mannings, and I move to Kingston, and I'm into now. I get a job in Kingston, or I move from Kingston to Westmoreland for a job, and my child moves for that. I think in those cases it is different, but for just recruitment purposes, this is what I'm saying. For recruitment purposes, it has to be from first form to third form. Because what I think is happening in the football is, you said it, Parchment. Why would I be encouraged to develop players from first form to fourth or fifth form, knowing that once I develop them, they're going to move from my school to a better school? Why would I want to invest in them? Because just when they are ready to win, a next school is going to come and take them.
Yeah, that is what I'm over the years. Holy Trinity build a lot of players. And I think
Holy Trinity is a good example. Yeah,
Holy Trinity keep most of those players, like the what's his name again, went to JC. I don't remember. He's a midfielder.
Willis
was one of them.
Yeah.
Another one was there too. The holding midfielder.
But listen, you keep mentioning. Listen, what I'm saying is that you keep mentioning JC.
JC is not to JC.
Yeah, but JC is not the only school,
I know, but he went to JC. So
because KC does it, right?
No, Rochester.
Yeah. Brain answer this then. Why are we educating Jamaicans so they can migrate? Oh, he's answering to this is Paul Marriott and Brain Drain having a conversation. So let me leave them like that. Rochester, yeah.
But my point is not about the school youth. My point is that if Holy Trinity kept those players, they could have won the Manning Cup.
Yeah, but what if a parent decides to listen? I don't want my son to stay at this school anymore. Because a parent may say, listen, my child is not doing as well as I want them to at this school. I want them to move to a next school because I believe this school will provide my child with a better opportunity. Should that child suffer because of a recruitment rule?
You would not suffer. You can always transfer to a school, but you can go to a club and make it from a club.
No, but my son is in fifth form, right? I'm just giving the other side of the argument. He's in fifth form, all right? He gets 6 CXEs, or they call it CSEC now. All right, I said, listen, I mean, I don't think the sixth form program that you offer at your school is good enough to help my son. I want him to go to Campion, as an example. Let's use Campion. Campion says they will take him, all right? But he's going to play for Campion football team. Should ISSA stop that child from playing for Campion?
No.
All right, the parents here want them to go to JC. Should the ISSA stop that player from playing for JC?
I don't think at the sixth form level you should stop them.
So JC has 10 players like that coming into their lower six from different schools. Should ISSA stop them?
Yes, depending on if it's a ISSA.
Why? So if they can't stop one, why should they stop 10?
Because they have a quota rule, they only can take 3.
But that is the point I'm making. Why those 3? Why not my son? Why are you going to cut out my son? Because he's the 4th one.
I forgot Mr. Wellington. What is one? Call him and ask him. Call him and ask him.
So there's a couple of ways to look at the whole thing, because some people are going to say that why are you depriving the youngster the opportunity for what the parent believe is better education, a better place to function educationally? Do you want to deprive the student of that? So there is a balance, but I think the rule need to be looked at because it is, I don't like the recruitment thing too much because, again, it's not beneficial to all schools.
My name's one. The way that the person in the comment section with the recruiting from grade 7 to 9,
yeah,
I think that will allow schools to focus on grassroots development. They might tap into the primary system now, and that will help Jamaica drastically in terms of building them from an early age. Because over in Europe, they start from age 6, start building them from age 6, and a two school from in St. Catherine, such as a Charlie Mount, will look at a Lindsay primary, help their PE department, and help their players so that they can perform at that age, and then they have a development process coming up. You understand? That will be better for a football.
Yeah, because here's what is happening on Parchment. What is happening, and I think this is a problem, there are other kids that get affected. So I may not get to go to sixth form because that space is being given to a person who plays sport.
That's true, but sports people always a preference. You add something, you add something more in society.
Really? Really? Yeah. What you saying, Bridget? Go to a different sixth form and compensate the learning with extra lesson. Okay. So that is what is happening in schoolboy football. So we are not, we are awaiting more information. Hopefully we can get that by the end of the day to see how things are going to pan out. I want to remind you of a couple of things though. Before we close. Now the Trenchtown Rock International Foundation, they are having their Christmas treat. This is a group of ex-Boys Town players, overseas and local, who are keeping a treat on the 18th of December to give back to the community of Trenchtown and its environs. And so they They're asking Clive Reed. We had him on a few weeks ago, and they're asking for persons to contribute towards that. All right. And so if you'd love to do that, please reach out to I Am Sure Sports. You can contact us on the number that is normally posted. I'm going to put it up by WhatsApp and we'll give you the information. And you can also do it on our Instagram page, or you can go to our Facebook page and do that. Also, the unsung ones. That's a group again of local footballers and past players, who they come together, they use their resources to give back to other past footballers who are falling into hard times. And they're planning to do something for many players across Jamaica who are going through difficulties. You can also make a donation to that cause. All right. Michael Tolo, who is a part of the organization, Anthony Badascarbet is the next person, Denden Hutchinson. I can't remember all the names right now, but what will happen is he's going to come on this week and give you a number that you can make a donation towards. Right? We want to thank you. We have our big show on Friday. So we have that prepared and lined up. We have an interview later this evening with Eugene Big Ed Williams, former captain of Arnett Gardens, Manning Cup winner with Charlie Simit, Premier League winner with Arnett Gardens, and former national representative. He's also the coach at Charlie Simit right now. Should have been on earlier today, but because of all the issues with this whole thing, he's okay. They're asking me for some JPL transfer news. All right, so let me give you some JPL. Let me give you some JPL news as we close. All right, now Harborview have made many major moves. So let me give you the news, the JPL news, right? Because I'm not going to do a next show until later. So yes, in the JPL. And see, you need to drop the link for your singing there. Yeah, man. Harborview, they have Anthony Bennett. He's been brought in, a youngster coming into the senior team. Anthony Bennett is the son of a former national player, junior player, Anthony Sausage Bennett. If you're from Clarendon College, you know him. He's going to be there. Amal Knight is also at Harborview. Trey Bennett is now at Harborview as well. Shamar Dyer is there. Ryan Wellington, he was at Portmore Dumby and he's back there. Romain Breckenridge, who was at Tivoli at Portmore, and now he's back at Harborview. They also have Gavin Burton, a young 18-year-old. Siobhan McDonald, who was at Harborview. He's from Cornwall College. He was at Wadada, came to Harborview, went back to Wadada. Now he's back at Harborview. Then you have Jay Jameson, a youngster from Westmoreland. They have Timar Lewis, who is returning, having sat out a season. Trayvon Reed from KC to Tivoli Gardens, now at Harborview. And they have one big signing of a player from overseas who is coming in. All right, Kevin Graham, who we told you was at Humble Lion. We understand that he is in Arnett Gardens, and Cardell Benbow and Osani Ricketts. They're at Waterhouse right now. The window was closed last week, Friday. That's the local transfer window. It doesn't open again until in April, I believe, March, April, when clubs will be able to make other transfers. So that's a little bit of news. There's some more that we're going to share with you on the show later at around 8:30 when we sit and talk with Eugene Big Head Williams. Again, thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. We want to hit 2,300 subscribers by the end of this week. And so if you have not yet, please subscribe to the channel. Also, Unseen Sports, I needed to show him some love, right? I needed to go over to Unseen Sports and just hit the subscribe button. You know, if you have not done so yet, he's normally over here with me, but he has his own channel. So just please go over there, hit the subscribe button. He's putting some things in place so the quality and content can be better over there. But in the meantime, go and check it out and subscribe. All right, listen, stay blessed, stay safe until we meet again. You understand me? We will leave you with a word from the sponsors for this video. Trick Nick, remember the Trick Nick giveaway is coming up. It's coming up very, very, very soon for someone in Jamaica. So yeah, we'll leave you with a word from our sponsors, Trick.
Picnic Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices. Add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.